Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit different today. I'm actually going to take you through some of my meals for the week, just what I've been cooking for dinner. We primarily eat a gluten-free and dairy-free diet. I'm a little bit sensitive to both, so this is just the kind of meals that I cook for the most part. I'll kind of explain what I'm doing in each of the recipes, and then I'll also link the recipes in the description below if you guys want to check them out. This first meal is going to be a very simple sheet pan meal. You're going to start by preheating your oven to about 475. And really the only ingredients that you'll need is some potatoes, which you can see me cutting up here into like bite-sized cubes, and then also just whatever vegetables that you have in your fridge really, and some type of chicken. It can be chicken breast or even just chicken thighs. So like I said, I kind of just started by chopping all the potatoes up into cube-sized pieces here. And then you're just going to add some seasonings. I just did salt, pepper, some olive oil, and then some Italian seasoning. And my little helper here just helping me out. You're going to go ahead and then throw this on a sheet pan, and these are going to need to cook a little bit longer than the rest of your vegetables, so I like to put these in about 20 minutes before the rest of the vegetables go in. Go ahead and just look in your fridge and see whatever you have available vegetable-wise. I had some broccoli, some cauliflower, I think I had some carrots, and I grabbed a zucchini, which I didn't end up using. Again, you're just going to kind of cut up everything into like bite-sized pieces. I was amazed at how big these heads of broccoli were. I cut my carrots into about 2-inch pieces here. I also then added some onion and garlic. I feel like onion and garlic are essential to every meal. I probably add them to everything. And then I just added the same spices to this, the salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, and some olive oil, and you mix that all together. So after about 20 minutes of the potatoes being in the oven, you're going to take the tray out and then add the rest of your vegetables to that tray. I realized at this point I was going to need another tray because there was just a mound of vegetables. So grab another tray if you need it. I'm going to grab my chicken here. I used chicken thighs for this recipe just because that's what I had on hand, and it tends to be a little bit more tender, but I'm just cutting off the extra fat around the chicken right now. And then you're just going to add some of your seasoning again, your olive oil, salt, pepper, Italian spices, and just lay those chicken out on your other sheet. And I kind of just scooped some of the extra vegetables around it so it was evenly spread between the two. And then you're just going to go pop those in the oven again for about another 25 to 30 minutes. And that's it for the first meal. Super simple and easy. Okay, this next meal I actually cooked a few days later, so you're going to see some of the similar ingredients from the last recipe just because those are the things I had on hand. We're going to actually make a soup with this meal, so you're going to chop up some onions and carrots and just saute them in a big pot. That zucchini that we didn't use from the last meal, we're just going to chop up into bite-sized pieces, and then you're just going to want to put this aside in a bowl. We're going to prep our kale here just by washing it, and then we're going to remove the leaves from the stem and just chop it up into bite-sized pieces and put this aside also in another pot. Now I'm just adding to the pot some broth that I had previously made and frozen, but you can use any broth that you have available. You'll see me here add some store-bought broth, so usually I do chicken or vegetable broth, whatever I have on hand. Once my broth was finally unfrozen, I added a can of diced tomatoes here with the juice and all. And then I'm just adding some Italian seasoning and other spices such as salt and pepper. So this recipe is really easy to add some meat to it. I had some beef that I had frozen, so I went ahead and chopped this up into some bite-sized pieces and just quickly kind of seared the sides of it, but you can easily turn this recipe just into a vegan or a vegetarian recipe. I'm adding 1 cup of lentils here, and this is a great source of protein, so you don't necessarily need the beef. Okay, while my soup comes to a boil, I'm just going to do a quick little cleanup. Do you guys like to wait until the end to clean up or clean up during it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, my soup has come to a boil, so I'm just going to put it on simmer now. Once your lentils are fully cooked through, this is when you can add your zucchini and kale. You don't want to cook the zucchini too long just because it tends to get a little bit mushy. The last ingredient that you're going to add is about 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is really great for the color. You can also add your meat at this point if you did add it to your ingredients. Okay, for this next recipe, we're going to go ahead and preheat our oven to 400 degrees. We're going to be roasting some Brussels sprouts this time. I'm just chopping the ends off and then chopping them in half, and adding some salt and pepper and olive oil. And then also, I like to add a little bit of garlic powder to mine as well. Then you're just going to go ahead and lay them out on a tray. And we'll just pop those into the oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. So while those Brussels sprouts are roasting, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some garlic that I'm prepping for. We're going to do tilapia with the Brussels sprouts, and also just cutting a lemon that I'm going to use to cook the tilapia in. So I like to get tilapia fillets that have never been frozen, but you can definitely go ahead and use the frozen ones. I'm just laying them out here on some paper towels to dry them off before I put any seasonings on them. After you've patted dry your fillets, you can go ahead and put your seasoning on it. I did some salt and pepper, and then you can really add whatever spices that you like to your fish. I did some paprika here, and then I also did some dried parsley flakes. So along with the fish and the Brussels sprouts, I'm just doing some cooked jasmine rice. Let's go ahead and cook our tilapia. We're going to start by adding some butter to our pan and squeezing some of that lemon juice into the bottom of the pan. Now we're going to add our garlic that we had chopped up, and I like to just cook mine a little bit and then remove it from the pan before adding my fillets, just because I don't like when it burns. I like my pan to be really hot when I place my fillets in to give it a good crisp sear. And then you're just going to turn it over after about 2 to 3 minutes, make it nice and brown on the one side. I usually turn my heat down and put a lid on it then to cook it until it's complete. And then that's all for this recipe. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get a little bit fancier for this last recipe. We're going to start with about a cup of water and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to it and mix that together. Next, I'm going to take about 1/3 cup of liquid aminos. This is just the gluten-free version of soy sauce. Next, I'm going to do about 1/3 cup of coconut sugar, and then about 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. Go ahead and move your saucepan to the stove and put it on simmer. I'm just chopping up some garlic and putting it into the sauce, as well as grating in some fresh ginger. I'm adding about 1 teaspoon of sesame oil and also about 1 tablespoon of honey. Now you're going to add your mixture of water and cornstarch to thicken up your sauce. You're going to want to cool your sauce off before using it as a marinade so that it doesn't cook any of the chicken, so you can go ahead and put it in your fridge just to speed up the process. Here I'm just cutting up my chicken into big enough pieces to put on my skewers. Once my marinade has cooled off enough for me to put it on my chicken, go ahead and remove it from the fridge and then add it to that bag that you put the chicken in. You're going to want to let it sit in this marinade for at least 30 minutes. I was originally going to make these chicken skewers with some rice and some salad, but I decided to make them into some spring rolls. So these are the spring roll wrappers that I use, and I just chopped up a bunch of vegetables. You can really use any vegetables that you have in your fridge. Go ahead and pop those skewers onto a preheated grill. You're going to want to turn them every 3 to 4 minutes for 20 minutes. While those cook, we're going to go ahead and make our dipping sauce. Start with about a half a cup of hoisin sauce, and then I'm adding about a fourth of a cup of peanut butter, and then just adding some water and a little bit of rice vinegar. This was actually my first time making these skewers on the grill, and I thought they turned out amazing. To make the spring rolls, I just put out a big bowl of hot water for the rice paper, and then everybody can kind of add their own ingredients and make their own individual spring rolls. So those are just a few of the meals that I made this week. Leave me a comment and let me know if you like these kind of videos, and I can make some more for you. And just thanks for watching, I appreciate it.